Night. It is the second game of a three-game series on a very warm night here in Arlington, Texas. The Rangers are currently tied with the Angels for first in the AL West. The Angels have already won their game today down in Arizona. That final 2-1. And we welcome you to Texas Ranger Baseball. Along with Tom Grieve, I'm Josh Lewin. This was supposed to be a night off for Jared Saltalamacchia. He's been catching a lot. We mentioned it's hot, and he's already done that in this series once. But Taylor Teagarden's not feeling well. Salty gets the call again.
Yeah, and I think when the season started, Josh, when you thought of Jared Saltalamacchia, you probably thought of a kid with outstanding offensive potential. And recently, in the last week, he started to get hot. He's had a 7-game hitting streak, and all season long, you've seen the signs of a youngster who's going to become an outstanding offensive player. He's got power from both sides of the plate. He continues to improve making contact. The one thing he's done this year, he's gone from a kid who needed to work on his defense to a kid who I think is one of the better catchers in the league right now. Nobody blocks the ball better than he does. His throwing has been terrific. Over 300 in his 7-game hitting streak. He's caught 13 runners. When you look at the overall package for a kid who hasn't played that much at his age, he's got a very bright future as a catcher.
Speaking of bright futures, his battery mate and the guy on the mound is Derek Holland. A lot of Ranger fans very excited about what he brings to the table. It's the Rangers and the San Diego Padres when we come back. It's a Ford F-150. Buy Jack in the Box. Right now, try the mini Buffalo Ranch chicken sandwiches. 3 mini home-style chicken fillets on toasted mini buns. And by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag. It's on. Now the temperatures have hopped up into the triple digits here in North Texas again. The Rangers and the San Diego Padres are doing battle tonight. Bud Black is the manager of the Padres and a team that lost 99 games a year ago. Trying to bounce back from that. They're celebrating their 40th anniversary of the franchise this year. Taking on a guy tonight in Derek Holland, who's only 22. Tony Gwynn Jr. at his first big league home run last night. He leads it off. Then David Eckstein, Scott Hairston, former Ranger Adrian Gonzalez, Kevin Kuzminoff and Chase Headley, Kyle Blanks and Henry Blanco. And then Everett Cabrera, the young shortstop. Rangers have a young shortstop, too. We've already talked about Elvis Andrus a lot. Elvis has said that when Derek Holland pitches, there's not a lot for him to do. It's a lot of strikeouts and pop-ups.
Well, this season, Derek has won one ball game. Almost every time he's pitched, he's shown glimpses of what you can expect to see in the future. Last Saturday in San Francisco, he put it together for 7 innings. He was terrific. Gave up a home run in that game. That was the only run. Pitched 7 innings, only gave up 4 hits. He has given up 9 home runs on the season, 4 of them in the last 18 innings. But that last 7-inning game, Aaron Rowland hit a home run early in the game against him, and that was it.
Another umpire that is very serious about the 7:07 first pitch. Here we go. Derek Holland was set at 7:05. Brian O'Norris says we play ball at 7:07. And so we do with Tony Gwynn Jr. He homered off of Kevin Millwood yesterday to get the ball game going. Millwood now is the only man to have allowed a home run to both Gwynns, senior and junior. And even 100 degrees at game time as Holland pumps in a couple of quick strikes to Tony Gwynn Jr. Kevin Millwood said after the game that was the worst stuff I've had all year, yet he won with it.
Yeah, and we kind of remarked on that last night. Sure, the stuff wasn't great, but the bottom line was 1 earned run in 6 innings. He made what he had work for him, and that's the sign of an ace, and that's what Kevin is.
Our Geico quote. This is the less colorful version of among the quotes that Kevin had in the papers today. That's kind of the summation right there.
Yeah, I guess that last sentence was the best one. It feels good to be able to go out and battle through it. A lot of times a pitcher will go out there with the worst stuff of the year and end up giving up 6 or 7 runs in the first 2 innings and be gone, watching it from the TV in the clubhouse.
If you read the other quote, you'll know. Let's just say that Kevin thinks his best pitch last night was the old number 2. Ground ball, Kinsler back on the grass, and he will make the play on Tony Gwynn Jr. Your Dallas BMW dealers bringing you the defense. And it's not just Kinsler, of course. It is Murphy, Bird, and Andrew Jones. Night off for Nelly Cruz, only the 5th time all year, but his 2nd in the last 4 games. Young, Andrews, Kinsler, and Davis. Again with Teagarden ailing slightly. Upset stomach. It'll be Salty with Derek Holland tonight. And Nelson Cruz, 7 for his last 52. 1 for his last 22. Andrew Jones has great numbers against tonight's Padres starter, Kevin Correa. So it just kind of made sense to put Andrew in right field tonight. That's a position we haven't seen him in all that often this year. We've seen him in left. Occasionally DHing, occasionally even at first base.
Yeah, I think the thought probably is at this stage of his career and at this stage of David's career, David is a little more suited to covering the huge left field in this ballpark. Not that right field is small or easy. But a lot of fastballs and a lot of strikes, and that's a kid that you don't throw the fastball by him like that regularly. He's not a kid known for his strikeouts. He only struck out 18 times all year, and he saw some heat there and couldn't catch up with it.
Yeah, Eckstein perennially one of the great contact hitters in the game. You mentioned it, Holland, 7 strong innings at San Francisco, probably his best major league start to date. 62 out of his 95 pitches were strikes.
It's been very rare when Derek has had control problems. There's been maybe 2 or 3 times where over a stretch of 2 or 3 hitters he might have had a little bit of a lapse in control. But overall, 15 walks in 44 innings. That's pretty solid for a young, hard-throwing left-hander.
Boom, in there to Hairston, who's behind 0-2.
Having a hard time catching up with his fastball. And he's thrown nothing but fastballs, so there's not much intrigue as to what the next pitch is going to be.
The lefty out of Newark, Ohio, has just struck out Hairston. That's right where he was in San Francisco. He brings that home, and here come the Rangers now. There's no score. Trying to make their mark against Kevin Correa tonight with Kinsler, Murphy, and Young at the top of the order. Andrew Jones has started to crank out the home runs of late. Bird and Blaylock, Saltalamacchia and Davis. The guy with the 4-hit night last night, Elvis Andrus, that matched the total that the Padres had for the entire game. 4 hits. And the righty Kevin Correa, the 28-year-old, here's the scouting report.
He's having a good season. By far his best as a big leaguer. About a .500 record, but a solid ERA. Less hits than innings pitched. Not many walks. His share of strikeouts. 2 or fewer runs, 6 or more innings in each of his last 4 starts. 26 innings in his last 4 starts. Only 13 hits, 2 walks, and 20 strikeouts. So over a 4-game period, he's been 3-1 with a .203 earned run average. He's been about as good as it gets over his last 4 starts.
And you Google Earth zoom in a little bit further. Those last 2 games, it's back-to-back 2 hitters for this guy. And Bud Black was saying, the Padres manager, over the last 18 innings total tag, this guy has only pitched from the stretch once.
Wow.
A couple of solo home runs that he gave up in one of those 2 hitters. Kinsler, a slow roller near short. And he's out because of Cabrera. Elsewhere, roaming around out there for the San Diego Padres, presented by your Dallas BMW dealers, Blanks, Hairston, and Gwynn, Kuzmanov, Cabrera, Eckstein, and Adrian Gonzalez. And the well-traveled Henry Blanco is the veteran catcher here for the Padres tonight.
.37 years old. This is his 7th team. Which says something.
Yeah,
10+ years in the big league, 7 teams. He's always had a job.
He's kind of the Venezuelan Greg Zahn.
Yep, he's always had a job.
Murphy found the upper deck with a 3-run homer yesterday. He's got 3 homers his last 8 games all of a sudden.
Well, Correa's having a nice year as a starter. 14 appearances, 14 starts. Pretty good curveball right there. He was a minor league free agent at the end of the season. A non-roster invitee to spring training, which means any team could have signed him without putting him on a big league roster and invited him to spring training. Pretty good find for that kind of a guy.
Yeah, a guy that did not have a strong 2008. He was in the rotation for the Giants last year, went 3-8 with an ERA north of 6. Murphy is grounded out. Michael Young is coming up as we welcome those of you watching on the Armed Forces Network, broadcasting to the U.S. Armed Forces, serving in 177 countries and aboard so many ships at sea. They're watching around the world in Iraq and in Germany, in Italy, Southwest Asia, South Korea. And here is Kevin Korea to Michael Young. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for your service. It's the Padres and the Rangers on a very toasty Saturday night. Two more triples and Michael Young will match Ruben Sierra for the most all-time in Ranger history. Well, the triple that Andrews hit last night, you talk about a rocket. It was just barely over the glove of the shortstop, and all of a sudden there's Andrews at third base. Rangers won that game by 10 runs yesterday, 12-2. Yeah, Michael Young offered at it, so a pair of 1, 2, 3 innings to get going tonight. Holland went first, Correa went next, no score.
Hey, Josh, Community Corner tonight. Hey, the Rangers' Wife's Cookbook is out, and I mean, it is quite a cookbook. We have Megan Harrison, wife of course, Matt Harrison, Andrea Bird, wife of Marlon Bird, and also we have Amanda Nelson, the girlfriend of Brandon McCarthy, in the Community Corner tonight. And it's a great cookbook that benefits the Texas Rangers organization, also the Pope Kids. And Megan, tell us what's in the book besides a lot of good recipes.
Well, we have 106 recipes in the book, and it also includes your favorite Rangers, coaching staff, front office staff, some of their favorites, such as their favorite recipe, least favorite recipe, favorite player growing up, stuff like that. So it's really cool.
Andrea, your favorite recipes in the book, yours and Marlon's, what would that be?
We have maple salmon with greens and edamame and walnuts, and whole wheat pasta with regatta cheese and roasted vegetables.
And Amanda, yours?
We have chicken pot pie and chicken Alfredo.
There we go. Now Brandon actually eats that. You know, he needs up those calories. You throw in a piece of pie every now and then?
Well, the chicken Alfredo isn't for the diet person who's on a diet, because it's about 700 calories a serving.
There we go. We like that one. Okay, Meg, now talk about where Ranger fans can get the cookbook, where it's sold, and where we can find this.
It's sold in the Majestic Grand Slam gift shop every night. The Rangers' Wives will be selling it on Friday and Saturday nights. You can get it at the Foundation booth or the gift shop. You can also go online and purchase a copy of it.
All right, TexasRangers.com. Also, the aprons are on sale, too, as well?
They are. We have signed, autographed aprons aprons and autographed spatulas for sale with the cookbook.
There we go. All right, let's go out and get the Rangers Wives Cookbook. It helps out a great organization. Appreciate it, ladies. Thank you. Good seeing you, Josh.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Regis. Gonzalez with the ground out, and Kevin Kuzminoff will be the batter here against Derek Holland.
Derek's thrown 15 pitches. 12 of them have been strikes. 12 out of 15. I think the lowest mile per hour of any fastball he's thrown. They've all been fastballs, been 94 miles an hour.
That's a hot shot base hit for Kuzminoff, and the first base runner of the game.
If you're Kuzminoff, you had to go up there looking for a fastball, and you could feel pretty good. You're probably going to see a fastball for a strike. That's all Derek has done to the first 4 hitters, is throw fastballs for strikes. They haven't been able to catch up with it, but Kuzminoff caught up with it, hit a sharply hit ball up the middle for a base hit.
Yesterday, a lot of long at bats for Kuzminoff. That time he just stepped right in there in your right tag, got the fastball, hit the fastball. Now Chase Headley. Can I make one Blazing Saddles reference? Just one?
Sure.
That's what Mel Brooks and Gene Wilder did in Blazing Saddles, is Chase Headley. Base hit right field, and all of a sudden Derek Holland has got to deal with 2 on, 1 out. Kyle Blanks will come up. Now, we're looking at a San Diego team here, Tag, with guys like Kyle Blanks and Tony Gwynn Jr. just added to the mix. Obviously, Everett Cabrera, their young shortstop. You mentioned it last night. Not a lot of guys with tons of big league numbers yet. And it just kind of signals to you that, indeed, the Padres are in the developmental process here again in 2009. Last year we mentioned the 99 losses. They were dead last in the league in runs scored. They're last again 1 year later. But I guess the other thing to keep in mind, and you brought this up yesterday as well, they do have 2 really, really good starters. So it'll keep them in any game, any time. That ball blasted by Blanks over the head of Murphy. And he'll quickly play it back in. But Blanks has just knocked in a run with a double. Yeah, 38 runs batted in down at AAA this year. Now getting a chance here in the big leagues. Knocks in his first run.
A lot of strikes, but again, all fastballs. And, you know, big league hitters, they watch the game. They know what he's going to throw on the first pitch. Going to be a fastball, and it's probably going to be a strike. So you can go up there and cheat a little bit. In other words, get ready to hit the fastball. Start your swing in plenty of time to get the head of the bat out there with a lot of confidence that you're going to see a strike and that you're going to see a fastball.
Now that one veteran we were talking about, here's Henry Blanco, the 37-year-old backup catcher. And he goes after the first one, gets it beyond Kinsler. So it looks like a little game plan here now from San Diego, and it's paying off with 4 straight hits. First and third now, still just 1 out for Everett Cabrera. Jim Lefevre is the veteran hitting coach for the Padres. That's the Jack Nicholson lookalike right there. One-time Cubs manager, one-time Mariners manager, and he's all about line drive hitting. The Padres, Tag, we again kind of mentioned this yesterday. They play in a cavernous home ballpark, and if you take big swings, you are not going to get rewarded for that. So right from day one of spring training, Jim Lefevre got this gig and said, guys, we're hitting line drives. That's what we do.
There's something other than the fastball. It's his curveball. The one, I think the reason he had such a good game in San Francisco was the fact that he threw his curveball for strikes all 7 innings. And you couldn't sit back and just look for his fastball. And I think what Derek wanted to do come out and establish his fastball today, and he did that to the first 4 hitters. And the next 4 hitters all went up there looking fastball all the way. And several of them first ball hitting ended up hitting the ball sharply. Well, that time, first pitch, instead of a fastball, Cabrera got a curveball for a strike.
Off of Holland and scooting into center field. 3-0 San Diego. They've got 5 hits in a row now. Remember, they had only 4 hits for the entire game yesterday. Only the double by Blanks can really be classified as a blast. That one right up the middle. 5 straight hits, 3-0 San Diego. You know what's interesting, Tag, is only 11 pitches in this inning for Holland. And already 6 men have come to the plate. Now 7. There's a breaking ball for strike 1 to Gwynn. In the first inning of yesterday's game, Kevin Millwood faced only 5 Padres and threw 29 pitches. The Padres just kind of ran right out there in the second inning. They are firing away, or at least they were until this at bat from Gwynn. Tony Gwynn Jr. was in the Brewers organization until the Padres were able to acquire him. That's a trade that just made so much sense from an off-the-field standpoint. Something you can absolutely market as having Tony Gwynn's kid on their team. Kinsler, a dive, flips it to Andrews. That's a great play. And it would have been the 6th straight San Diego base hit, but Kinsler snuffed it out.
Kuzminov, Headley, Cabrera. Ground balls are finding holes. That one didn't. Ian made sure that that one didn't find a hole. A lot of these hits have been, you know, solidly hit ground balls. Nothing special. But with little luck, one of them goes at somebody and turn a double play.
Holland has thrown 26 pitches for the game, Tag. 20 of the 26 have been strikes, so it's not like he's having one of those nights where he's not able to harness what he's got. Little half swing roller from Eckstein. And that's the inning. However, 3 runs for the Padres. They're up 3-0 mid-2. Play video, highlights, and live audio broadcasts. Go to TexasRangers.com on your iPhone or iPod Touch to make a purchase. Josh Hamilton is talking like he'll be back within a week or a week and a half. I'm sure a lot of Ranger fans, Ranger players, everybody will be happy about that. The Rangers persevering without him. And it's nice here, Tag. They've got that 3-game winning streak now. A 40-32 record. They are matched up even Steven with the Angels. Same record for the Angels after a win today. And maybe steering out of that so-called June swoon. It's a popular baseball cliche, the June swoon. I think it was Bob Brenly who said if those two words didn't rhyme, it wouldn't be as big of a deal in baseball, but you just always seem to hear about it. And not every team has one, obviously, but enough of them do. Just have that kind of mid-season malaise. And the bottom line is the last couple of ball games, the Rangers averaging, what, 10.5 runs a game? Pitching's getting it done.
Yeah, I think Bob's exactly right. The only reason June swoon has ever been said is because it rhymes. There's nothing about June that would lead you to believe that some team is going to be in a slump. But in any given month, in any given week, it stands to reason that some team's going to be in a slump and some team isn't. It's pretty hard for 30 teams to be in a slump. Right. Somebody's got to be winning the games.
Yeah, the 3 or 4 teams that, you know, were great in May and don't have as good a June, they'll be told they have a June swoon. Jones with a walk. And Marlon Byrd will come up next. All right, what are we making of this? Is that an alternate uniform that we're looking at for 2010?
With nicknames on the back.
Yeah, like the old football league that didn't make it. Somebody can put "He Hate Me" right on the back there. That would be cool just for a game. Blaylock would, you know, have Hammer on top of that number 9. Up and outside to Bird from Correa. Now the Padres swinging aggressively at those Derek Holland fastballs in the top of the second. Scored 3 times. Rangers did plenty of hitting yesterday. Ended up winning 12-2. Nine runs at least in back-to-back games. That's the first time all year the Rangers have done that, and it comes on the heels of one of the biggest downturns of the year. The Rangers had what, 7 runs in the 4 games before that combined. Inside 2-2. While the Rangers were pummeling the Padres, the Angels were stomping all over Arizona last night. They won by almost the same score, 12-3 in that game. And the Angels won today in Arizona 2-1.
See how one of those runs scored for the Angels?
Yeah, Eric Ibar dropped down a bunt and scored on his own bunt.
Pitcher threw it over the first baseman's head. The first baseman picked it up, threw it by the third baseman, and the bunter came all the way around to score a run.
The T-ball or coach pitch home run right there. Eric Ibar got it. And then Mike Napoli broke a 1-1 tie with a long home run in the 9th inning. So essentially, Tag, the Angels have won twice since the Rangers won their game last night. And the Angels have the night off in the Phoenix Scottsdale area. Monitoring this one, I'm sure, at least in some measure. We'll keep you current on the other games going on tonight. Pablo Sandoval has a couple of home runs for the Giants tonight, Tag. San Francisco leads in the one non-interleague game tonight in Milwaukee, 4-0 in the 5th inning. Two pitch to Bird, ground ball near short. Cabrera to the bag, double play. That's too bad. That was a nice long at bat for Marlon Bird. A lot of foul balls working that count, but then the double play. The aforementioned hammer, Hank Blaylock, picked up career run batted in number 500 last night, and for good measure number 501. Hank hit a long home run last night. And it was his first multi-RBI game in 6 weeks. Again, Kevin Correa, the pitcher for San Diego. Back-to-back 2 hitters coming into the game tonight. Although in one of those games he went only 6 2/3 innings. Now Blaylock took a rip. Correa, a San Diego native. Grossmont High School and Grossmont College before transferring out to play at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. That's where Ozzie Smith plied his trade years and years ago, and Mike Krukow as well. You just saw Mike as one of the Giants broadcasters in San Francisco last road trip. Blaylock lifting it to left, and there's Blanks. He's got it, and the Rangers do not score in the second. The Padres lead by 3. % on car insurance, and by AT&T. Switch to the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Crowd of probably about 23,000 or so watching the Rangers and the Padres tonight. There was 33,000 here last night, and there were fireworks after the game. Don't forget, tomorrow night, same 2 teams, a 7:05 first pitch. Good tickets available. Call 972 Rangers right now, or you can go online at TexasRangers.com. Here's Scott Hairston to lead off at third. Pretty interesting tag in the first 2 innings. Both pitchers, Holland and Correa, 11 pitches apiece in the first inning, and then 16 pitches apiece in the second inning. But for the Padres, 16 pitches, that got 8 men to the plate.
That's pretty remarkable. 8 hitters and 16 pitches. A lot of them first ball hitting, putting the ball in play.
So you can see who's working the count and who's not. 16 pitchers for the Rangers in the second inning. Only 3 men came to the plate.
I think what happened to Derek in that inning was he was trying to establish his fastball, but they weren't letting him. They went up there looking fastball. He's throwing so many quality strikes that they just went up there looking for a fastball, looking for a strike, and put the ball in play. They were finding some holes. A couple of balls hit hard, but a couple of the balls were just ground balls through the infield. They ended up with 5 straight hits.
Do you literally tag? I mean, do you go up there as a hitter at the big league level and always right out of the chute, first pitch you're going to see? Are you looking fastball when the game starts? Very first pitch that you see.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of hitters, and I mean, I was that kind of hitter. I look for a fastball almost every pitch anyway.
Got him on appeal.
And then try to make an adjustment to a breaking ball. But I guess it depends on the history you've had with a pitcher, what kind of pitcher he is, what kind of hitter you are. But I think if you just had to make a blanket statement, I would say that's probably true. But the art of pitching pretty much is changing speeds and keeping the hitter off balance, throwing a pitch in a location or a type of pitch that the hitter's not looking for. And so when you get into a situation where you've thrown 15 straight fastballs, as well as he was throwing and as many strikes as he was throwing, the hitter was able to look for those fastballs and get the decent part of the bat on him. Now, if a couple of those ground balls are hit right at somebody and turn a double play, he'd have been out of the inning and not had any problem. I would say, Josh, it's rare for a hitter to go up there and look for a breaking ball on the first pitch, get it, and hit it. I mean, it happens, and some hitters are hitters that anticipate a certain pitch most of the time. But I think for the most part, guys are going up there looking for a fastball.
And it's always an interesting battle when you've got a guy who's so confident in throwing it, and yet you know everybody's still looking for it. Dizzy Dean's approach, they say, was very simply, here's my fastball. Now see if you can hit it.
Well, there's very few guys who have that kind of a fastball.
Kuzminoff is going to skip one off of Elvis Andrus. A tough chance for Elvis, and should be the second hit for Kuzminoff tonight.
If you've got a fastball that doesn't have an exceptional amount of movement, then it's hard to just throw all fastballs to big league hitters. Now, if you got a fastball like Kevin Brown and that ball sinks and goes 94 miles an hour, you can throw it all day long and they're still going to have a hard time hitting it.
Was Nolan a guy like that? I mean, when the fastball was really popping, even though he had the other 2 complementary pitches.
I think Nolan was probably one of the exceptions, a guy that could throw a lot of fastballs and there's not much you could do with it. But still, when Nolan was pitching for the Rangers, he had a well above average curveball and a well above average changeup to go with his fastball.
Elvis tears after it and smothers it. Oh, and he couldn't get rid of it. Did a great job to get to it. But it's another infield hit for San Diego, this time by Headley.
But even when Nolan first came up and he was throwing 100 miles an hour, he still had a great curveball, too. Bert Blyleven only threw 2 pitches most of his career. He had a really good fastball, but a great curveball. So there are very few pitchers that have gone on to win 15 or 18 games and pretty much only throw fastballs. Very rare that a very successful big league pitcher is only a fastball pitcher.
And you're right.
Some relievers might be.
Right. And I think sometimes even too you have to differentiate, between what kinds of fastballs. I mean, can you say that Mariano Rivera gets by or got by for years essentially on one pitch?
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Though. Kevin Brown, his ball sinks. Mariano Rivera's ball cuts. So it's not a straight fastball. And so even though it's technically a fastball, it's a fastball with movement that makes it very difficult to hit. Now, could Mariano Rivera be the same kind of pitcher as a starter with only that pitch? I doubt it.
Kyle blanks with a foul back.
I think that's why a lot of starting pitchers are turned in to late inning bullpen guys. It's usually a guy with one really good pitch. Really a hard throwing pitcher with maybe a hard slider, but he doesn't have a changeup, doesn't have a curveball. And the feeling is 2-3 times through the lineup, they'll time it and catch up with it. Short stint late in the game, 2 or 3 batters. You don't need the off-speed pitches much. But I think to be a successful starting pitcher, you pretty much have to develop an off-speed pitch, not a hard slider, but a curveball or a changeup, splitter, something to go along with it. And there's a lot of Dave Stewart, for instance, was a guy who had a 95-mile-an-hour fastball and a hard slider. And so we, when he was with us, turned him into a late-inning bullpen guy. And then he became a free agent. He bounced around for a couple of years. Dave Duncan taught him a splitter, which is like a changeup. And he became a guy that won 20 games 4 years in a row. That never would have happened without that off-speed pitch.
Another foul by Blanks. And, well, you know, you talk about the splitter. I mean, that's what made Bruce Sutter the dominant closer that he was, right kind of around that era.
Yeah, there are guys like that with one pitch, one really good pitch. He didn't throw hard, and you knew the splitter was coming, but you still couldn't hit it. Hoffman, his pitch is a changeup.
Yeah.
He throws about 85 miles an hour. And there's something other than a fastball. He had a fastball first pitch off the wall the first time up, and that time he missed an off-speed pitch.
So that's some pitching that time by Derek Holland. He gets his 4th strikeout of the game, and it stays 3-0. It's behind the home plate. Visit participating Albertsons stores and enter the Rangers Dairy Month sweepstakes presented by Dannon and Dairy Max for your chance to win. Go to TexasRangers.com/sweeps for more details. And don't forget to vote Ian Kinsler into that All-Star game too. Your vote counts. TexasRangers.com. Here's Jared Saltalamacchia, who's been coming on. He's got a 7-game hitting streak. Getting a chance to roll it to 8 today. And Taylor Teagarden battling a stomach virus, was supposed to be playing today. The Rangers still don't have a hit against Kevin Correa, and again he's allowed now only 4 hits in his last 17 innings total. We're talking about types of pitches and types of pitchers, and I guess Correa tag has got what everybody calls the basic 4. Hear somebody say the basic 4 in baseball. That means the fastball, the curveball, the slider, and the change, right?
Right. He's had a good curveball today. And when you have those pitches, you don't need a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. There's a good curveball, good, hard, overhand curveball.
For his 2nd strikeout of the game. Well, and the whole credo that Ray Miller popularized years and years ago. Work quick, throw strikes, change speeds. Those are things that'll work for you, and things that Kevin Correa has been doing very well lately. Chris Davis gets into one, charging that one towards the track to the wall. It's gone. We've been seeing it, anything in that mid-80s range, miles per hour wise. Chris Davis is still punishing those kinds of pitches. That one was 84 miles an hour, and he drilled it to center field. His 15th home run of the year.
They threw him a changeup on the first pitch. And Chris had a good swing at it, and no doubt about it, dead center field.
Crush is now 7 for his last 12 at bats. Andrews bunting one foul. There was a time not too long ago, Tag, that poor Chris was 7 out of 69. Now he's 7 out of 12. A little celebratory conversation down there. 3-1 San Diego now. Andrews not bunting this time. He's taking this time. It's 0-2. Rookie of the Year candidate, the 20-year-old. He's going to take a called third strike. 90 miles an hour. Kinsler comes up next. And let us go to Jim Knox.
All right, thank you, Josh. You know, in case you and Tom weren't aware of this, that June is Dairy Month. We have about how many dairy farmers on hand today?
About 35 dairy families here today.
There we go. David Lloyd, who's a how many generation dairy farmer?
I'm a second generation dairy farmer. I'm from Godley, Texas.
Godley, Texas. So you guys actually make a living out of milking cows, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, so we got 30 dairy farmers on hand today, and the message is drink milk.
Drink milk. It's a healthy product, especially you kids that want to come out and play baseball and want to build strong bones and have a healthy body. Drink milk. 3 servings a day at least.
Dairy farmers support the Texas Rangers. Also, as far as how many cows you milk each day, what is it? Well, give us a little number here.
We milk about 400 cows each day on our farm here, and we ship about 3,000 gallons a day. 3,000 gallons a day. We have 800 head on our whole place, so with young stock and everything.
All right, there we go. How about it, dairy farmers having a good time, huh? Yeah, there we go.
Kinsler up there, up against the wall, and it's grabbed by Hairston.
The way he played that ball, I thought it was going over the fence.
Same. Hairston with a sly smile as he comes off the field. Kinsler has hit a few this year that have been just short of getting out. It is now 3-1 at the end of 3. because everybody will forever remember, if they were at the ballpark that night, it was indeed all about David Clyde. It's all you heard about for days and days leading up to it. But somebody had to pitch against him. Who was it?
Well, I was at that game. I don't remember who pitched for him. I remember a lot of the hitters for the Twins that day, but I don't remember the pitcher.
That'd be like being the other shortstop in the game where Cal Ripken Jr. broke the Ironman streak. And somebody has to, to do that.
Yeah.
Who would care? Chop ball foul. Holland to Henry Blanco. Well, the Padres zipped quickly through a bunch of base hits in a row, just a conveyor belt of base hits in the second inning, 5 straight. And they scored 3 times. The Rangers muscled back with a Chris Davis home run, bottom 3. So here we are, top of the 4th, 3-1 San Diego. On the out-of-town scoreboard, the Astros blasting the Tigers tonight 8-1. The Tigers have been playing great ball, but it's just not happening tonight. That game's in the 7th inning in Houston. That is Alfredo Figueroa getting knocked around for Detroit. Now Blanco thought he might be able to coax a walk, but Brian O'Nora calls him out. 5 strikeouts for Holland.
Derek has fine stuff tonight. The other thing we're talking about, changing speeds, mixing up your pitches. The other way that you can get by predominantly with a fastball is to throw it exactly where you want it. A lot of the fastballs that have been hit, and again, all of them haven't been line shots or anything, but the base hits have come on fastballs down a little bit and out over the plate. As Derek matures and gets a little bit better command with his fastball, there's more than just throwing strikes, it's throwing quality strikes.
Boy, there's Cabrera, the Rule 5 draft pick, knocking one into the right center field alley. And give the Padres some credit, scooping this guy away off of an A-ball roster last year. He jumps from A-ball for the Colorado Rockies to the big leagues for the Padres. He was finding creative ways to get on base yesterday, making all the plays in the field. There he's got himself a double.
But if Derek, when he's throwing his fastball, if he throws that 96-mile-an-hour fastball right on the inside corner and then down and away and moves it around on both sides of the plate, it becomes an incredibly more effective pitch than if all of them are down and out over the plate. And that's just simple logic of pitching right there. It comes with experience.
Top of the order, Tony Gwynn Jr.
So people might say, well, why would that kid be on a AAA roster? Why wouldn't they protect him on a big league roster? You get to protect 40 men on your big league roster. Chances are the reason he wasn't protected was because he was only 21 years old. He had only played in A-ball, and they said, we're going to protect a guy that's played a little bit higher, that's a little more likely to be drafted, because the rule is you have to stay in the big leagues. We don't think anyone will take this kid because he's so far away from the big leagues. But you can hide a position player, especially a middle infielder, on your roster all season long, giving him a little bit of playing time here and there. And then the next year you can option him out to the minor leagues if you want. In this kid's case, watching him play, he can handle his defensively. He's got a strong arm, good range. Might just get a lot more playing time as the season goes on than they thought when they drafted him.
Well, the Rangers, of course, have a rather famous Rule 5 pick, but from unusual circumstances there. Josh Hamilton, he was also a one-time #1 overall draft pick in the June draft, and that's, obviously some extenuating circumstances off all of that. But how about Johan Santana as a fairly successful Rule 5 draft pick?
Yeah, most Rule 5 draft picks, good curveball,
great curveball,
are sent back to the team that they were drafted from. You draft them for $50,000, send them back, you get $25,000 back. And most teams take that player back because most of the kids, it's like a spring training tryout. Let's see what he looks like. Let's see if we keep him. Nope. Nice try. We can't. It only cost us $25,000. You give him back.
It's a test drive.
But occasionally they stick.
Gwynn is down on strikes. And they tell Saltalamacchia he does not have to throw it down to first, so simply 2 down off strikeout number 6.
Well, Gwynn's had some good swings at fastballs today, and so that time he had to look at something else. A couple of good curveballs, real good curveballs.
I would say right now, off the top of my head, Tag, Johan Santana, Josh Hamilton, and Dan Ugla would be the 3 Rule 5 guys right now in baseball that are cementing themselves as perennial all-star types.
There's certainly 3 of them. I don't know who all the rest of them are, but those 3 are pretty good ones.
Well, probably the most famous of all time was Roberto Clemente, was a Rule 5 pick. Willie Hernandez was, of course, Mitch Williams, right?
Yep, we drafted Mitch Williams. And there's no possible way he could stay in the big leagues. We had to work out a trade where we gave San Diego a really good player. Randy Azador was a third baseman for the right to keep Mitch and option him to the minor leagues. He couldn't throw batting practice in spring training, let alone pitch in a big league game. There's no left-hand hitter would get in the cage. I don't blame him.
Runner going second and third. Terrific jump. Salty's throw is going to be too late. That is simply Cabrera scoping it out and going. You mentioned yesterday, Tag, he had 70 steals in A-ball last year. He got a big walking lead off at second base there, and nothing Salty could do.
You pay less attention to a guy with 2 outs. You don't, you don't say, all right, go ahead and steal it if you want to, but not quite as effective with 2 outs as it is with less than 2 outs. Although it's easier to score from third than second with 2 outs, a pass ball, a wild pitch, an infield hit.
Now David Eckstein, the old-fashioned choking up on the bat guy. Drilling one towards left center field, and that's going to get Cabrera home easily. Eckstein, remember, struck out on 3 pitches back in the first. Then he grounded out on 1 pitch in the second. Erie has doubled in a run to make it 4-1 San Diego.
If I had to guess, I would say that the hitters would say in the first inning it's tougher to hit. When the sun's setting, the background is kind of, there's a glare out there. And just the way Eckstein struck out in the first inning, I have a hard time feeling like he was able to pick up the ball very well because he's such a good contact hitter.
Right, that wasn't a real vintage Eckstein at bat, that first one.
He's also never seen Derek before, too, and he's throwing 96 miles an hour. That had something to do with it.
Andrews in the hole, is going to plant, is going to fire a strike to get Hairston. Well, David Eckstein's now got more runs batted in than Michael Young this year. Pretty nice season. 4-1 Padres. A question. When David Clyde debuted as an 18-year-old on this date in 1973, who was the Twins pitcher? Went on to have a little bit more of a career, huh? Jim Cott was going the other way in that one. And David Clyde, if you don't know the story, chosen over Dave Winfield and Robin Yount, among others, in the 73 draft, though no one seemed to be complaining about that at the time. The Rangers also got Len Barker in that summer's draft, too. But like this batter here, David Murphy, David Clyde was a great athlete out of Houston. And the Rangers figured, I'll let you pick up the story, Tag, because you were here and I wasn't, but there was a lot of box office boffo power behind it, not only drafting David Clyde, but starting David Clyde right away. There's a base hit for Murphy in the center.
Yeah, I think that had a lot to do with the kind of pitcher that David was, for sure. He's a highly touted young pitcher, but as far as why he was picked ahead of certain people in that draft, I think it was a combination. Number one, he was a good pick. A lot of teams liked him. I don't know if they all liked him better than Dave Winfield, but Bob Short, the owner, liked him because of the fact that he could sell out the park several times that year at a time when he was really hurting financially, and that's exactly what David did. All-time crowd at the time was his first game, and most of the games after that were fairly big crowds too. So it probably kept Bob Short solvent that year and allowed him to sell the team and get out of it. But it sure didn't do David Clyde any good.
No. 6 days after his high school prom, there he was facing the Minnesota Twins. Michael Young twisting that one towards Tony Gwynn Jr., who's got it on the run. Another great quote from David Clyde years later when he looked back on it all. He said it was like going from high school anatomy class to actually doing brain surgery.
Well, maybe a slight exaggeration, but I get the point. Now, David, with his talent, was allowed to grow up in the minor leagues with kids his own age and let his performance in the minor league dictate the jumps that he would make in classification and finally get to the big leagues 3, 4, 5 years later. I don't think there's any doubt he could have been an outstanding big league pitcher for a long time, but the way he was handled by the Rangers back then pretty much doomed him right from the start. It was almost a cruel thing to do to him, even though everyone had a blast at the time. It was fun to watch a sellout, fun to watch him pitch. High school kid against a big league team. But in the long run, it did a huge disservice to David. They had camera guys in the bullpen filming him from 3 feet away while he was warming up to come into the game.
That's a lot to deal with.
That's, you know, going a little bit above and beyond. But back then, the Rangers weren't used to big crowds. They weren't used to attention. We were a terrible team. And so there wasn't anyone in the organization like John Blake who would have been equipped to handle that kind of a situation. And kind of whatever anyone wanted to do, they did it that day.
Well, and it's interesting because just a couple of years later, this San Diego franchise kind of did the same thing. Not with #1 overall. They had the #2 overall pick. They took the lefty Mike Lentz. They could have had Lou Whitaker, Lee Smith, bunch of guys that were obviously on to big things after that. But the young 17-year-old lefty, they didn't rush him right in there, obviously. They tried to groom him a little bit, but they had designs just like the Rangers did to get a hard-throwing high school lefty that you figure you can build around. Two from Correa. Got him on the outside corner for out #2.
Well, a few years after that, the Rangers played the Twins, and the Twins had a left-hand pitcher pitch in the big leagues with no minor league experience. The difference was he was a highly successful college pitcher at Arizona State. That was Eddie Bain. Eddie Bain pitched in the big leagues. without going to the minor leagues. But he was 3 years older than David. He was 21 at the time, not 18. So huge difference there, even though it might not have been the best thing for Eddie either. His first game was not against the Rangers. The Rangers faced him that season, but not in his first game. Charlie Finley with the A's had a couple of pitchers. I think Tim Conroy?
Yes.
Went right straight out of high school to pitch in the big leagues. I doubt it could ever be looked at as that was good for his career either. Mike Morgan might have done the same thing. It will never be duplicated what Joe Nuxall did, though. Pitched in the big leagues when he was 15.
Yeah, we've seen a couple movies made like that where, you know, some kid with a bionic arm gets to pitch when he's 12. But you're right, in real life, that's not going to happen.
In the absence of a bionic arm in some extraordinary circumstances, you will not see a 15-year-old pitch in the big leagues again.
Actually, well, and this is just to be a goofball, just because that's what I do. But the Royals had a 6-year-old technically pitch for them. Steve Mangori was a leap year baby. February 29th.
Did pretty good for a preschooler.
I know. That ball nailed by Bird in the center. It's going to curl right to Hairston. And that is the end of the 4th inning. Leadoff single doesn't blossom. Padres lead the Rangers tonight 4-1. Insurance, we've got you under our wing. Now the Padres have been getting around on some Derek Holland fastballs, and they lead 4-1 tonight. The Padres, a team that's well, they've lost 18 of their last 21 against American League teams. Well, they've got some halfway decent hitters, and this is one of them. This is a guy that's going to be an all-star, you figure, Adrian Gonzalez. 24 home runs already. He goes after the first one he sees, grounds it sharply to first. A one-time Ranger with the Rafael Palmeiro kind of swing and stance. And he was a one-time #1 overall pick in the country. We were just talking about David Clyde last inning. Now here's Kuzmanov. A rope to left field down in front of David Murphy. And again, swinging early and often here, these Padres right now.
I think the key to Kuzmanov right now, don't throw him a pitch he can hit on the first pitch. Bust him in with a fastball, see if he can hit that. That was something other than the fastball right there. That was a curveball. He jumped on that one too, but all the pitches he's hit have been pretty good pitches to hit as far as hitter's location goes. That curveball is down and in, might be a different story than right up and out over the plate.
Kuzminoff and Headley are a combined 5 for 5 tonight. And that's something. The 3 and 4 guys, Harrison and Gonzalez, are 0 for 6. But you get past Harrison and Gonzalez, those are the 2 scariest dudes they've got in the lineup. And right after that, it's 5 for 5. Jumping down to second base, Kuzminoff. And Salty couldn't control it. And it has scored a wild pitch. He had it. The ball just didn't come up with him. On the out-of-town scoreboard, the Orioles lead the Nationals tonight 5-3. Elvis Andrus might have some competition for Rookie of the Year. Nolan Reimold of Baltimore, his 9th home run already. Reds lead the Indians 6-3 in the 5th inning. Jay Bruce is hit number 18. The Marlins and the Rays are knotted up 2-2 in the 6th. Carlos Pena's hit home run number 23. That is outside to Headley. The walks have not been an issue tonight for Holland. That's his first one.
Most of the times, if you hear someone that has control problems or location problems, you just assume that there's a lot of walks. But sometimes you can have location problems within the strike zone, meaning too many strikes are good strikes to hit. Not enough of the strikes are on the corners, up and down, moving the ball around to make it tougher for the hitter to gauge where the pitch is going to be. So you can have bad control that leads to walks. You can have control issues within the strike zone that leads to too many good pitches to hit.
To third base and under the glove of Michael Young. On a scorcher by Blanks. Murphy's got to go dig it out of the corner. One run's already scored. Here comes another. 6-1 San Diego. The first 3 big league runs batted in for Kyle Blanks are all tonight. And Mike Maddox out to the mound to talk to Holland. Well, the 5, 6, 7 hitters for San Diego have come up huge tonight.
Well, we've said it many times this year when young pitchers are on the mound that it takes patience, and you can't judge a 22-year-old based on performance when he's going through growing pains, learning how to pitch, learning how to develop his off-speed pitches. It's a process, and there's ups and downs, and that's just the way it is for young pitchers. And last outing went great. Everything fell into place with his control and command, and he held San Francisco to 1 run in 7 innings. Today, his command within the strike zone hasn't been quite the same, and Padres have had some good swings. It's led to 11 hits and 6 runs. And just part of the growing process for a young pitcher.
11 hits before any action stirred in the bullpen. And, you know, again, it's not like the pitch count is way up there. It was 11 hits as of 68 pitches tonight. Now they'll get some action going in that Texas bullpen. It's Doug Mathis. Other scores while we have them here tagged. The Rockies lead the A's early 2-0. A Brad Hawpe first inning home run. Philly shut out the Blue Jays in Toronto 10-0. J.A. Happ goes to 5-0. Former Northwestern Wildcat. There's a pop-up by Cabrera. Shallow right. And Andrew Jones has got it to get Holland out of the inning. But 2 more runs for the Padres, and they lead it halfway through. It is 6-1. Jim Knox. Come in, Jim Knox. We'll go later to Jim Knox. Currently, Hank Blaylock, the native San Diegan bats. I believe we can go to Mark McLemore because he's sitting right over my right shoulder. So I know that Mark McLemore now is going to have something highly intelligent to discuss with us. Good to see you, Mac.
There you go.
Don't do me like that. I think we can't even. So Derek Holland had a great first inning. I mean, bing, bang, boom, no problems. 11 pitches, couple strikeouts. Then, from what you saw, what happened?
He lost his zone. He could not get the ball on the corners where you've got to be. One of the problems that he's having is keeping the ball up in the zone and right down the middle of the plate. And you just can't throw the ball down the middle of the plate to big league hitters because they're going to do damage with it, and that's what the Padres are doing tonight.
Mac, in this ballpark, in the first inning, when the sun's setting and the grass background in center field is kind of glary, is it tougher to hit in the first inning here, or is that not an issue for a hitter?
It's really not an issue. It wasn't an issue when I played here. It wasn't an issue at all. I think the toughest issue that you have with the sun is that left fielder the first couple of innings. Any low line drive, you're probably not going to see it, and you just hope and pray that no one hits a line drive in those first couple of innings.
But as far as the background, no issue first inning through.
No, not at all.
After the Blaylock strikeout, Saltalamacchia takes a strike. Were there ballparks, though, I mean, American League or National League, where, say, at a certain time of day, you just knew this is going to be tough?
Absolutely. A lot of ballparks, especially when you get around 4 or 5 o'clock, when the sun's starting to set, you have that shadow that comes across in between home plate and the pitcher's mound, and there were some ballparks that actually in Seattle. The years I was in Seattle, the backdrop there, they could not perfect it.
Yeah.
They had the ivy, then we had the solid wall initially, and that wall, they couldn't get the color of the paint right, so we would have a wicked glare out there, and then they tried to go with the ivy, and that didn't work. But
then the trees, is that
the trees, absolutely, yeah. So there are some ballparks that are very, very tough to hit in.
This particular pitcher appears tough to get a good swing against. Kevin Correa, last 3 starts for him have been great.
Well, he's doing what a pitcher's supposed to do. He's not throwing the ball down the middle of the plate. He's keeping guys off balance, getting ahead early. That's the 3rd strike here, first pitch strike of this inning. Getting ahead early, and now he's pretty much in the driver's seat. He can come back with another fastball or a breaking pitch and do what he wants to do with a hitter.
Well, he's got some kind of curveball working for him tonight too.
That helps.
You know, and the key to his curveball, it's a big breaking curveball straight over the top. Not many of those pitches have been above the knees. Most of them have been down right around the ankles of the catcher when he catches it. So they're all in pretty good location.
Man, that's some kind of inning right there. Strikes out the side. Well, Mac, you were horrible luck. Get out.
Next time, come back when you can't stay so long.
Come back with some runs. All right, guys.
Get out of here. All right. Thanks, Mac. 6-1. Let's go for it. Let's try it again.
Sorry, guys. I was having a wonderful conversation with Virginia. Longtime Texas Ranger fan, 84 years young. This is her birthday present. Her granddaughter came out here to watch the Rangers play. Who's your favorite player?
Kinsler.
Kinsler, all right. And you think the Rangers will do it this year? This year for the playoffs?
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am. And what else after the game? What are you going to do for your big birthday?
Oh, I'm going to strawberry margarita.
Oh, okay. Very well. Virginia, was nice meeting you, and continue to root on those Rangers. Thank you very much, and happy birthday, Josh.
Only one? That's my
question. You ought to buy her one of those giant margaritas they sell at the ballpark.
That's what I'm thinking. You do that. Send one out there to her. Oh, yeah. 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 Tony Gwynn with a 3-0 count on him, and that's on the corner, 3-1. But 97 degrees right now. You think that?
Off.
I know. You think that thing would taste pretty good, or a Slurpee? Either way. Ground ball. Davis has got it. Holland's got to get there to cover, though he couldn't do it. The ball's thrown away, and Gwynn now taking off for second base, and he's going to make it. Going to be an E3, and that's a shame because Davis, first of all, it's only his second error all year. And the mere fact that he even got to that ball and had a play to make was terrific.
When you watch, when Derek follows through, his left leg comes over his right leg in his natural follow through away from first base. And so one of the things that he'll have to work on is, especially with a fast runner, is covering first base and getting there really quickly.
Infield single, E3. Doug Mathis getting up for a second time in the Ranger bullpen. That's a dozen hits now for San Diego. First one by Tony Gwynn Jr. tonight.
And that one may not have mattered. Gwynn gets down the line pretty well, and I think even if Derek got there before Gwynn got there, or in plenty of time, Gwynn probably, that doesn't make any sense. If he got there before Gwynn got there, he'd be out. But even if he got there as quickly as he could, it was probably going to be a base hit anyway, in the eyes of the scorekeeper.
Eckstein with the ground ball that skips past Kinsler into center field. Here comes Gwynn racing to the plate. Well, the Padres did very little hitting yesterday, but it's like they can't stop tonight. It is now 7-1. That's 2 straight hits, each of which have produced a run for Eckstein now. Mike Maddox out to the mound before Hairston comes to the plate. Well, if you had told me before the game tag that the Padres would have 13 hits and none of them would be from Hairston or Gonzalez, that would have been a surprise.
Well, some of the people watching the game right now might wonder, why is Derek still in the game? And you know, you have to think of the long term and the big picture, and so you really don't want to use Guardado, Wilson, Francisco, O'Day, the late inning guys when you're behind 7-1, unless you absolutely have to. You'd rather keep them for tomorrow's game, keep them fresh for tomorrow's game, which leaves Willier, Grilly, Jennings, and Mathis to get at least 3 innings and maybe 4 innings. Mathis, Grilly, and Air all pitched yesterday, and Jason's been pitching a lot, including getting a save and coming in the 4th inning in 2 games in Arizona. So the bullpen right now, when you're behind 7-1, it's a little bit problematic, and you're trying to stretch the starter as long as you can so that the bullpen is where you want it to be for tomorrow. And sometimes that means the starting pitcher has to stay out there a little longer than you would like.
A 4-hitter for Holland last time out, 13 tonight.
I think the other thing that enters into it, there's a difference between this 7-1 game, a 6-run deficit, and a pitcher like Correa out there throwing the way he is right now, than a 15-9 game where the Rangers have 14 hits and they're just pounding the ball, and you feel like they could score at will. Now you might feel a little bit differently about trying to shut San Diego down. And it doesn't mean you've given up. It doesn't mean you don't think you can win. But when you have to look at a 162 game schedule, sometimes other things go into it than just that one game.
Well, one good thing to report on tonight for Holland, that's 7 strikeouts. That's the most he's had in the big leagues in a game.
Yeah, and I think you see that frequently with young, talented pitchers. At times, they can be overpowering. 1 walk, 7 strikeouts is impressive. And, you know, at times the command, is, as Max said, is not there within the strike zone. And that's what develops over time. Occasionally you'll find a 21 or 22-year-old comes up with all the ingredients already in place and just steps right in and starts to win. But
well, it's crazy.
It's pretty rare.
The Giants had 2 of them basically, and Matt Cain and Tim Lincecum.
And Chad Billingsley, we've seen him
with the Dodgers. Yeah,
did that 3 years. Both Billingsley is 24, I think. So is Cain. But that's rare. Billingsley and Cain, I don't have their bios in front of me, but I would guess they probably had a little bit more minor league experience as far as innings than Derek did when he got here. So they might have been a little bit more accomplished in the art of pitching at a young age. Derek really until the game against Houston hadn't thrown his curveball as a pro, and so that's a work in progress, although it's at times, including today's game, he's shown the signs of having a real good curveball as time goes on.
Gonzalez gets a hold of that one, and it's down the right field line towards the pole, hook and away. It is foul. That's a breaking ball that Gonzalez seemed to be ready for.
In blowout games, you prefer to be on the road because then you have 1 less inning to worry about for your bullpen.
Yeah.
When you're at home, you're playing 9 innings. You're on the road and you're in a game like this, it's only going to be 8 innings. So this is 1 extra inning that the bullpen's going to have to pitch today.
And this game, remember, is after the Angels have already won today. After 50 days of having at least a share of first place, this could be the day that the Rangers wobble a half a game out. But we'll see if they can get to that San Diego bullpen. Make some waves here. Talking about Adrian Gonzalez and the year that he's having. Only Albert Pujols has more home runs. There you go. 8 strikeouts for Derek Holland. And again, the Hairston-Gonzalez component to this batting order, the most dangerous part, a combined 0 for 8 with 4 punch-outs. But it was the guys before and after that component that just wore Derek Holland out tonight. That last pitch, the strikeout pitch, that is the final pitch he'll throw tonight, number 90. And he'll leave the mound trailing 7-1.
Well, Derek will be discouraged after this game, but he shouldn't be, because he showed a lot of good things tonight. The final line's not going to look good. 13 runs, 7 hits. The 1 walk, 8 strikeouts, threw a lot of quality pitches. And you just have to keep working and keep building and know that the future's bright.
7.
Score of 7-1, and we welcome you back to the ballpark. Emily Jones here with you. It is the top of the 6th. It's time for us to remind you on what we've got going on Twitter and Facebook. If you were a follower of ours on Twitter, you would have learned before anyone else that Matt Harrison was going on the DL. And if you become our Facebook friend, you can find out what the Frisco Rough Riders road trips look like. It's very different than in the major leagues, Josh and Tom. Right now, though, I'm going to find Virginia and a strawberry margarita.
Oh. Right on. Thanks, Sam. Good for you. Well, here now is Doug Mathis on in relief of Derek Holland. A most unusual line for Derek Holland. Only 1 walk and 8 strikeouts. That part of it looks great. But then the 13 hits allowed and 5 in the third. Yeah, that just looks like a total typo. Here are the numbers on Doug Mathis.
Well, what Doug needs to do now is throw a lot of strikes and give Ron Washington as many outs as he possibly can, hopefully, so Ron doesn't have to use any other pitchers, and just make sure the bullpen is ready to go for tomorrow. That's an ideal situation.
Kevin Kuzminoff has been a solid 3 for 3 tonight. Taken for a strike by the so-called Crushin' Russian. They also call him the Mashin' Macedonian. And Kuz for short for Kuzminoff.
Well, Derek got 17 outs. Almost half of them came on the strikeout. And they're are statistics kept by sabermetricians for the amount of balls put in play that you would expect to be base hits. My guess is that the amount of balls put in play by San Diego tonight and the amount of hits they got, that percentage was a lot higher tonight for Derek than it will be the next time.
Boy, in on the hands there.
Some misfortune in that regard.
Yep. Kuzmanov grounds out. So the Padres end up adding just the 1 run. They're leading 7-1. Bottom of the 6th coming up. Did it for 2 at Sonic. Good luck to Helen Cotton from Dallas. And if a Ranger hits the grand slam this inning, we're giving away $25,000. You can register at any North Texas Sonic restaurant. A part of the story tonight is the guy on the mound for San Diego, kind of an unheralded dude, Kevin Correa, but this is his 3rd straight game where he's allowed only 2 hits. Entering the bottom of the 6th with a 7-1 lead, deals a strike to Andrews. "13 hits allowed and 7 runs by Derek Holland. But only 2 hits allowed so far by Correa. One of them a long home run by Davis. Cabrera behind the bag is going to get Andrews. You know, Tag, we were talking yesterday about the Rangers getting in at 5 or 6 in the morning and then taking the field last night, maybe on adrenaline, winning that game 12-2. And we kind of mused about how there's that theory that it's the second day back where you start feeling the effects of that. You feel a little sluggish. Is it possible that that's at least a little bit in play tonight?
Well, it's possible, but probably more probable that Kevin Correa has a lot to do with it, because it's not a fluke that he's throwing well tonight. He's spotted a solid fastball with pretty good movement on it. Ball tails into the right-hand hitters, and he's had a real good curveball. Good command of his pitches tonight. He's got 1 walk and 7 strikeouts. So I think that has as much to do with it as anything.
Kinsler trying to get the Rangers going, a base hit into center. It's something you and I end up talking about a lot, about how momentum is only as strong as the next day's starting pitcher.
Well, I think if you switch the pitchers around and pitch Correa last night and last night's pitcher tonight, you might see 2 games that were entirely different ball games. But Correa's been on a roll, as we talked about it already. He's pitched in his last 4 games. He's 3-1. He's pitched 26 innings. He's only given up 13 hits and 2 walks in his last 4 games. So he's been on a roll, and the way he's pitching tonight is not coming out of nowhere. It's the way he's been pitching for quite a while.
Murphy lofting one to center field.
That is a guy who is available to 30 teams as a free agent and didn't get a roster spot went to spring training as an invitee on a AAA roster. It's been a nice pickup the way he's throwing. Got good stuff.
The Ozarka Texas Rangers Alumni Legacy Golf Classic will be July the 30th. That's a Thursday at Texas Star in Euless. The event supports the Texas Rangers Baseball Foundation. 817-436-5933 for more info. On appeal, that's a strike, says Fielden Culbreth. The Angels stole a win in Arizona today. So they are poised to overtake the Rangers if there's no rally by Texas now. The great Jared Sandler tells us, Tag, that the last time a Ranger pitcher allowed 13 hits in a game was 2 summers ago. Kevin Millwood did it, but that was an 8 2/3 inning game. This was 5 1/3 for Holland tonight, and it was only 90 pitches. It's not like it was 128. You know, it's not like he ever looked like he was really struggling out there. Michael Young creams one left center field. That's going to drop and bounce to the wall. Kinsel racing at third. Here he comes. And the Rangers chip back to it in 7-2. '29th RBI this year for Michael Young off his 24th double.
Oh, yeah, hanging slider right down the middle of the plate. Michael creamed that ball.
Andrew Jones will take outside. Now, Andrew, we mentioned it earlier, home runs in 4 of his last 6 games.
Well, if he hits a home run right now, this becomes an entirely different game. Now it's a 3-run game with 3 innings to go. And I think a manager, Ron Washington, looks at the bullpen situation entirely differently as he would when it was 7-1. But whether it's 7-1 or 7-4, Doug Mathis is the guy that's going to be in the game right now anyway. But your reluctance to use the late inning guys in a 7-1 game is not quite as clear when it's 7-4.
Mm-hmm. Three balls, 1 strike. Marlon Byrd on deck. Big 2-out hits have been in short supply this month of June. If the Rangers can string a couple together here, they're right back in this thing. Down the line, there's a hit with 2 outs. That'll make it 7-3. Jones thundering towards second base. He is there.
That's giving the crowd something to cheer about. Still have a man in scoring position. Another base hit by Marlon. It becomes that 7-4 game.
Kuzmanov just couldn't get to it. Marlon Byrd has been getting hits with 2 outs, maybe more than anybody else for the Rangers. A lot of his hits this year have been doubles. Doesn't have a lot of home runs yet. He's got 4. But check your forward leaderboard. Already 23 doubles for Marlon. His career high is 28. Ground ball past the mound. There's Cabrera. Rangers will settle for a 2-run 6, but they have crept closer to San Diego at 7-3 with the 7th inning coming up after this. Now the Rangers have come on back to 7-3 as we go to the back third of the ball game, and the native of Show Low, Arizona, Doug Mathis, will deal here to Chase Headley. Headley's had a big night with 2 hits and a walk. And Davis with a nice little scoop for out number 1 here in the top of the 7th. We'll check some other scores for you here in this inning. The Orioles over the Nationals. That's gone final 6-3. Former Ranger Greg Zaun with a home run. And Mineral Wells native Aubrey Huff with a home run. Reds lead the Indians 7-3 in the 7th. Florida and Tampa Bay still tied 2-2. They're in the 8th inning. The Rockies now out 5-0 over the A's. That game's after 3. I think it's distracting for Blanks trying to hit with those little animals dancing around. Thought we were going to be looking at whack-a-mole there for a second.
Whoa.
High drive, center field.
Stay in the park.
Good coaching there, Zach.
You have to talk to the ball.
Talk to the ball there. That's in memory of the bird.
You see golfers do that all the time. Stay left. Stay left.
That wasn't for Marlon Byrd. That was for the late, great other bird, Mark Fidrich. You talk to the ball, and it's all okay.
Yep. Too bad that doesn't work all the time.
That doesn't work in golf, really?
Well, it works sometimes, but not all the time.
What about that power of positive thinking?
That helps you, but it can't turn a 15 handicapper into a pro. You know, you still have to have some reality in there, too.
Oh, reality just gets in the way of so much.
It does.
That ball fouled by Blanco. Phillies shut out the Blue Jays 10-0 today. J.A. Happ goes to 5-0. Jason Worth a pair of home runs.
The art of positive thinking makes you better than you would normally be without it. No doubt about that.
Well, there's no value to the art of negative thinking at all. I mean,
but unfortunately, the majority of people practice the art of negative thinking. Some of them, most of them, don't even know it.
You should read the emails.
But there is a limit to what it can do.
Mathis can't get it. Young fires. The stretch. Oh, it got away from Davis. That would have been heroic. But instead, this is going to be an extra base taken now on an error. That's
I couldn't tell where the ball was. It looked like Chris stretched to where his glove went underneath the ball. I thought the throw was accurate. Let's see if we can see on the replay.
For now, it's an error.
I think he would have been out, too.
Yeah. For now, it's an error on Michael Young.
No, it was to his left. From our angle, we couldn't tell where the ball was. It wasn't high, but I think the ball was too far to the left. Chris couldn't reach the ball. Yep, couldn't tell from here. Throw was offline. From here, it looked like he stretched, and his glove went underneath the ball, but that was not what happened.
Well, that was an ultimate bobble in the crowd right there. Those are tough. The ones that are right on you, you got to try to get it on the ricochet. One strike to count to Cabrera. So one more look at the Michael Young to Chris Davis play. Boy, that's a contortionist that Davis had to turn into there. Cabrera, who got nicked by pitches twice yesterday. First 2 times in his big league career he'd ever gotten hit. That one came close to getting him here. Some other scores here, Tag. The White Sox walked it off against the Cubs as the rookie Gordon Beckham wins it in the bottom of the 9th, 8-7. Lou Piniella met with the media today and offered a public apology to Milton Bradley for sending him home from that game yesterday.
Wow.
Chop ball to short. There's Andrews. Gets rid of it. And it stays 7-3 at the 7th inning stretch here in Arlington tonight. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T is your world delivered. Now the Rangers have come to within 7-3 from 7-1. Need to continue the charge. You know what would work here, Tag, is 3 more 2-run innings. They've already established they can do it once. Just 3 more times, fellas. Is that the power of positive thinking?
Sure is. Visualize it. See it happen.
Be the ball, Danny. No. Outside to Blaylock, 3-0. Here you go.
Only 81 pitches for Correa.
Yeah.
He's been on his game tonight.
Outside corner to the native San Diegan, Hank Blaylock. We'll run through some other scores for you this inning, too. Again, the Angels have already won today. They beat Arizona 2-1. Blaylock, a high drive into the right field corner. Tony Gwynn is chasing, running, got it. Hank's favorite player growing up was that guy's dad. And that's unfortunate. Hank kind of hoping that ball would bend out of play. It did not. Second time in this series that Gwynn is bodied up to that wall. Saltalamacchia with a chop ball foul. First time the Rangers have played the Padres in 3 years. The two teams' lifetime against each other are 10-10. Remember interleague play when it first started out, the Rangers played that NL West every year. The Rangers played at what was then still known as Jack Murphy Stadium and later Qualcomm Stadium. They have not yet been to the new park, to Petco in San Diego. We mentioned earlier that that's the kind of place where if you're a pitcher, boy, you want to get a game there. Petco Park is very friendly for the pitchers. The Padres do head home when the game tomorrow is done. Pleasure to talk to their broadcasters. Of course, the dean of their booth is Jerry Coleman, 37th year as the voice of the Padres, with his patented hang a star and oh doctor calls. He's been doing that for a long time. Hall of Famer. Two to Saltalamacchia. Boy, there's another powerful pitch. Well, Evan Correa.
92-mile-an-hour fastball becomes a 96-mile-an-hour fastball after you see a couple of those curveballs. Good assortment of pitches for him tonight.
Chris Davis comes up next, and here's our Coors Light freeze cam. The Rangers' first run tonight was on that swing from Chris Davis. The home run to center field. Outside to Davis, and you know, the TV guys from San Diego we should mention too, since Mark Neely is in the first year as the play-by-play voice for the Padres. He's a guy that spent a lot of time in Tulsa, very familiar to people in Oklahoma that are watching us tonight. Great guy. Has called Big 12 before as well. Mark Grant is his partner. Originally the 10th pick in the 1981 draft was Mud. That's a good team right there. We mentioned the radio guys, Jerry Coleman. We welcome back Ted Leitner as well. And Andy Mazer. They're in the air-conditioned comfort over there. There's Jerry on the right. That was Ted Leitner on the left. He calls the Padres my Padres.
They evidently do not like the heat in Texas very much.
Boy, and there's some heat and some frustration for Chris Davis. Well, Correa, we knew it coming in, has been hitting his stride of late, and he's pitched a good ball game tonight. 7-3 Padres. Pitches to get through it, but then that second inning rolled around and the Padres just would not stop hitting. 5 hits in a row, as a matter of fact, and they scored 3 times. Rangers came back on a Chris Davis home run, his 15th of the year. And then when the Rangers were down 7-1, the Rangers chipped back, getting doubles from Michael Young and Andrew Jones. But that's where we are now, 7-3 in the 8th inning. Doug Mathis continues on the mound and faces Tony Gwynn Jr. There's your game summary. The Padres getting it done really more from the bottom of the order than anywhere else. And 9 strikeouts, a career best for Correa. Only 1 walk for him.
At Correa's last game, he struck out 7. That was his high. Prior to that, it was 5. So he seems like he's headed in the right direction. 7 strikeouts against the A's and so far 9 against the Rangers.
Gwynn with a high drive in a right center field. Marlon Byrd is there. Well, as for Derek Collins' effort tonight, some researchers turned up something very interesting, Tom. You would turn to me between innings and said, boy, when's the last time you've seen 13 hits and 8 strikeouts in less than 6 innings? And I'm here to tell you that research goes back to 1954. It had never happened until tonight.
Since 1950? Oh, it's never happened.
Never, and that's as far as the research goes back. Holland is the only pitcher over the last 56 years at least with at least 13 hits allowed and at least 8 strikeouts in an inning or in an outing of 6 innings or less. All of that together had never happened before.
It's unusual, and I think you have to take it a step farther. That's never happened, so it doesn't matter that the next thing has never happened either. But when you combine it with only 1 walk and 8 strikeouts, if that's all you know about the game, 1 walk and 8 strikeouts, I think 9 times out of 10 you anticipate it's going to be a relatively low scoring game. But there's a combination of things today. you have to credit the Padres for swinging the bats well, but the other side of it is an unusual amount of balls that they put in play found holes. I think if you have the same kind of performance the next time that some of those balls go at somebody, you might see a double play. The outfielder might have a ball hit right at him, and you have the 1 walk and 8 strikeouts, but you don't have the 13 hits and 6 earned runs. Maybe you've got 8 hits and 3 earned runs. Well, you look at the game, and it's not going to console Derek after he gives up 13 hits and 6 earned runs, but there's a lot of good things going on in that game. He threw a lot of quality pitches. He had some good curveballs. And even though I'm sure Derek doesn't want to hear it's a learning experience, that is the reality of it. And it's what you take away from the game and apply to your next game and the game after that matters. And Derek's a smart kid. He's a hard worker. So he'll take something away from this game that he needs to work on. It's just part of the process of becoming a winner.
And there are some positives to bask in, too. The 8 strikeouts, obviously.
Yep.
The fact that he went after Harrison and Gonzalez and had them at 0 for 8. Hairston sending this one foul. His brother Jerry was a Ranger for a couple of years, very popular guy. Now with the Cincinnati Reds. Reds beat the Indians. Actually, that's still going. 9th inning now, 7-3. The Astros over the Tigers 8-1 as a final. The Yankees shut out the Mets 5-0 today. A.J. Burnett and the bullpen, a 1-hitter at the Mets. Andrews with a backhand pickup. Nicely done. The scoop by Davis, and they got him. Real nice. It is 7-3. Bottom of the 8th coming up. Home Depot presents Doing More on Defense, and it is Scott Hairston robbing Ian Kinsler. Not a lot has gone right for the Rangers tonight. The Padres having a nice time of it. Again, the Home Depot doing more on defense. Now the crowd is hoping to see some late lightning here. The bullpen will be put into use now for the Padres. Edward Mujica, who we saw with the Cleveland Indians last year, is out there on the mound. Yes, there he is.
I thought they were crying. They were laughing. .33 games as an Indian last year.
The native Venezuelan, Mujica, against another Venezuelan, Elvis Andrus. Padres got him for a player to be named on April Fool's Day this year. Andrus, Kinsler, and Murphy. And maybe the hope here is that the Rangers get a relief pitcher who's a little off his game, and they can start to mount the comeback. But the one dynamic about the Padres that's different this year, if you've followed the team even a little over the last 16 years, they don't have Trevor Hoffman anymore. You get deep into a game, and for the last 15, 16 seasons, it was always about getting the ball to the guy with the great changeup, future Hall of Famer Trevor Hoffman. But Hoffman moved on. Heath Bell has become the closer, and he's had a great year. Andrus to right field. Gwynn racing. He's got it again.
Well, one thing we've seen from Tony Gwynn, he's got some good range out in the outfield, and he's not afraid to go toward that wall. You see a lot of outfielders, especially visiting outfielders, shy away from that wall when they get near the foul line. But Tony has not done that. He's slid into the wall. He's ran into the wall. That's the third time he's made a play near that wall.
You want him on that wall. You need him on that wall. Kinsler, we showed you the third inning at bat where he took it to very deep center field. He was also singled in this game. Drive to left field. Carrying. Harrison again is going to make the catch. And the wall wasn't quite next to him, but he was going to jump anyway.
Well, the thing you like about Hairston is he's not taking any chances. That's the second ball that Ian's hit. One was right up against the wall where he jumped, maybe when he didn't have to. But bottom line is he's going after the ball. He's making sure he's going to catch it. He wasn't quite as close to the wall as he thought he was. Maybe he didn't have to jump, but I guess the bottom line is both times he had a long way to go and he made the catch. Two 400-foot outs for Ian in this game.
Life's like that sometimes.
Very graceful play.
Yeah, had the wall been a little closer to him, that would have made all the highlight reels. But Murphy 1 for 3 so far. Now tomorrow, another 7:05 game. And it's the Rangers sending young Tommy Hunter to the mound. Again, Matt Harrison has been scratched. Some biceps soreness. And Chad Godin will pitch for San Diego. Well-traveled guy. Murphy foul tips it. Blanco has got it. The Rangers do not score in the 8th inning. And they're trailing by 4 runs as we go to the 9th. hits tonight, and they've got the Rangers in danger of slipping behind the Angels. Check your Jack in the Box standings. Right now, it's a flat-footed tie. The Angels winning 2-1 in Arizona today. But yeah, if the Rangers don't rally in the 9th inning, it's the Angels in first place by half a game. There's a base hit for Adrian Gonzalez, his first of the night. 15 hits for San Diego. The team with the worst batting average in the National League, but they have found a way to put it together tonight. Crowd of 25,410 watching tonight. Kuzman off a lot of first pitch swinging tonight. Grounds that one foul.
Prussian Russian's not waiting around tonight, boy. He means business.
Padres swinging the bat a little bit more forcefully than that iconic Friars logo would suggest on their jersey sleeves. I always thought that was one of the most wheels-off logos in baseball history, the swinging Friar. Looks like Murray the cop from Odd Couple with a bat. 0-2 to Kuzmanov. Pass the mound near Andrews. Oh, look at that shovel flip. Got the double play. The swinging Friar is no match for the fielding Venezuelan. That's a sweet-looking double play.
Yep, when you've got a play you know you can make, why not add a little flair to it? Give the fans something to cheer about.
As long as you don't flip it into the right field corner or something.
No, that's it. We have to practice to make sure that doesn't happen.
That would make the manager mad. Pursued in left center. Marlon Byrd won't get there in time. And Chase Headley having a great game. Ahead of speed and at second base. That's the 4th time he's been on base tonight. Kyle Blanks will come up next. First, let's go down to Dana on the set of Rangers Live.
Guys, coming up after the game, much more on Matt Harrison's injury and his replacement tomorrow, Tommy Hunter. Plus, I know you've been talking about that crazy play in the Angels game, the bunt turning into a home run. You got to see it to believe it. We will show it to you. That's right after the game. But quickly, an update. I ran into Emily Jones on the way out here and her new best friend, Virginia, and their strawberry margarita. And I don't know, guys. Looks like they weren't waiting until after the game, were they? No, I'm kidding. Emily's still Emily's still working.
Oh,
okay. Of course not.
Okay. No, just check. Just check.
That's right.
Dana's a prop comic. like
trying.
Like Carrot Top.
Virginia said, I want another one.
Virginia might have had one. We don't know. She's entitled.
I'm glad she got a chance to come out to the game today.
Great to have her. Again, the crowd 25,000 plus on a sultry summer evening here in North Texas. Some scores we failed to get to earlier. The Pirates beat the Royals 6-2. And some partials now. Mariners and Dodgers scoreless in the first inning. Felix Hernandez for Seattle tonight. In there.
Good job by Doug. We talked about when he came into the game. The one goal that he would have tonight is be the last pitcher for the Rangers so that no one else in the bullpen would have to work, provided the game stayed the same type of game. And he's thrown 42 pitches and needs one more out, and he will have pitched 3 1/3 and allowed Ron Washington to let the rest of the bullpen rest for tomorrow's game.
Which is a 7:05 game tomorrow that you'll see on My 27. Or if you want to come on out, good tickets remain at 972 Rangers. Or by going online at TexasRangers.com. Cardinals beat the Twins today 5-3. 2 more homers for Albert Pujols. Tag. He's now got a Major League best 28.
Wow. This guy's a machine.
That'd be a good nickname for him.
It would.
And again, the Angels over the Diamondbacks 2-1. It was a tough one to swallow with what's going on here in Arlington tonight. Red Sox over the Braves 1-0. Tim Wakefield goes to 10-3 very quietly. Papelbon is 18th save.
Every year, Tim Wakefield is like a lifesaver for the Red Sox. There's always something that happens, and no matter who it happens to, it's not Tim Wakefield.
Right.
He gives a solid performance. He'll close if they need him. Dice-K's having a terrible year. He's injured right now, and what happens? Wakefield goes into the All-Star break with at least 10 wins under his belt.
Mathis got him. And now the Rangers needing 4 to tie and 5 to win. It is 7-3 San Diego. And by the Ford F-150, it's not just a pickup truck, it's a Ford F-150. (7-3) San Diego tonight. The Rangers, if they don't rally right now, they're going to fall a half a game out of first place. And Michael Young, Andrew Jones, Marlon Byrd set to come on up there. The pitching change for the Padres. Mike Adams, a native Texan, born in Corpus and lives in Sinton, Texas. Out of Sinton High School. It's a real good 3A program. And here he is in his home state and trying to close out the Rangers tonight. This is a guy that got into 54 games last year with the Padres, and before that a Milwaukee Brewer. I got the rally cap going. Got the foam finger. Whatever it takes. The Rangers have been 5 hit tonight. And Kevin Correa gets a lot of credit. The way he was just dropping that curveball in on the Rangers, and powering them with the fastballs too.
Really good assortment of pitches. Very effective fastball, excellent curveball. And he just keeps the streak alive that he had coming into the game. That's 5 straight outstanding games for him. Only walked 1. He's only walked 3 batters in his last 5 games. Over that time, he struck out 29, walked 3, giving up 18 hits in 33 innings. That's some pretty good pitching.
Well, if you're looking for the positive visualization, we've been talking about the power of positive thinking all night tonight. We just talked about Adams, formerly of the Brewers. The Brewers just scored 3 in the bottom of the 9th to come back and win. Prince Fielder with the game-winning double. Rangers will need a little bit more than 3. That's a start. Base hit, Michael Young. Went up and got the fastball, clocked it in the left. everything up, obviously, to Michael.
Yeah, pitches up, not going to get Michael out. He'll hit 400 if you throw him up all day long.
Andrew Jones, an RBI line-hugging double last time up. He's also walked tonight. Now again tomorrow, 7:05 first pitch. Dog night at the ballpark. Then the Angels come in starting Monday. That'll be a big 3-game series. Every game against the Angels big the rest of the way. Andrew Jones sends it deep into center. Hairston going back, and he's got it. Almost knocked him over.
That's the third ball. Ian's hit 2 that the Rangers have hit to Hairston in center field that have been about 400-foot shots. All 3 of them have been caught.
It's a hard first out.
The catcher just threw the ball back to the pitcher, and the Padre bullpen has sailed right over the backdrop into left field.
Is that where that ball came from?
The catcher threw it back to the pitcher.
That's quite an arm. Sorry about that, Chief. Banks and Bell getting ready out there.
Well, this game, let's see. If the Rangers get one man on, it becomes a save opportunity, right?
You are correct, sir.
Tying run in the on-deck circle.
Yeah. Wave and a miss by Marlin. The Rangers would drop to 10-13 in June if they cannot rally. And again, they'd slip to half a game out in the West. Not much besides the fastball yet here, huh? Right back with another one. 90, then 91, then 92 to get Marlin. Again, a reminder, Rangers live right after the game tonight. Last chance for the rally. It's going to be Adams against Blaylock. Young goes, and uncontested, he's in at second base. Defensive indifference. Well, the Rangers dropped behind 3-0. That was in the second inning when the Padres got 5 hits in a row off Derek Holland, and they never really could recover from that. Holland with a career-high 8 strikeouts tonight, but he gave up 13 hits in a little more than 5 innings. Another chance for Hairston. Whoa, he got it. And the Rangers fall tonight by the final of 7-3. For the first time in 50 days, the Rangers are not in first place. It's the Angels by half a game. We're going to take a quick timeout.